we go again. Another edition of Dirty Laundry. It's Joey Clifton.
Hi, Mary Ellen Godin from the Record Journal.
And Meatball.
And we're going to air out Meriden's Dirty Laundry. You can follow us on Facebook at Dirty Laundry CT. And also, you could send us an email if you got any questions or complaints or you want to be on the show. dirtylaundryct@gmail.com.
All one word.
All one word. And
Word.
I think our first two podcasts went pretty good. I was expecting a lot of negative feedback, and I didn't get any.
No?
That's surprising.
No, none. None at all.
That's good, because yesterday was Yulefest, and people were asking for opinions. Of course, most of the opinions were kind of negative. I didn't like that. The hours were wrong. My kids didn't like it.
Oh, I saw a lot of good Yulefest things. It was like you said, little nitpicking.
Yeah.
It should have started an hour earlier.
Mm-hmm.
I think what happened was once the sun went down, it got a little bit colder.
It got chilly.
And I guess
I think
people
everybody
were
liked Santa on the Train, though. I think
Yeah.
that was
Yeah.
pretty universal, that was a hit.
Yeah, definitely. Everybody liked that.
Right.
And a lot of people showed up. I don't know how many people.
There are a lot of people walking
No, there
by.
were a lot of people.
A lot of
Crowd-
great shows on the street.
Yeah.
A lot of crowds. And we're going to have on the show today.
David Cooley.
All right.
We're going to find out more about Meriden and what makes Meriden tick and how we can improve it and make it greater again.
No, just stop using that line.
Why?
He's going to make us wear hats.
Is it copyrighted?
No, I'm not gonna wear a hat.
Free hats?
Making Meriden great again.
No, stop it. Some idiot is gonna go and make up a shirt or something. It'll be Meatball to do it.
Good for them.
Nah.
You ever see that Santa that was at the ballroom?
No, never got to see the Santa.
No?
No, there was no Santa at
There
the
was
ballroom.
Santa. He was wearing boots and socks over his boots.
Huh?
Well, all Santas
You
do
didn't see that guy?
No.
He's like an old guy.
Oh, yeah, he was dancing.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Dancing with you.
yeah. We had a great old time. We
Yeah.
couldn't get the recreation table to turn around and notice us. We were trying.
Yeah.
So what's your boy's name?
Oh, that's who he was talking about?
No, there was a different guy.
I'm so confused. Speaking of bands,
Okay.
Taking Back Autumn was amazing.
They were great.
Tim and Mike and Big Al, Big Sweet Al on the drums.
Yeah.
And we had a conga
We
player
had a
in there.
conga player.
Okay. I see.
Yeah, that's Tim Longden and Mike Simmons on drums.
Underarms.
Big Al on drums.
And Topeka sausages.
Oh, it was delicious.
They donated over 250 kielbasa.
Yeah, with sauerkraut, you get to choose if you want the sauerkraut or just the sausage.
Oh, they
Both
were-
were delicious.
And the
Man.
ballroom looked amazing.
Thank you.
I thought it looked like, I guess someone had compared it to Frozen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think everyone that came in kind of said, wow, I didn't know it was
Yeah.
so great looking.
And it was nice to see all the people walking along the sidewalks down to Gallery 53, and they did really well from what we've
Yeah,
heard.
right. Yeah.
Was there some kind of schedule? Because people were complaining there was no schedule, no maps.
No, there were plenty of schedules. I mean, they put one on my mailbox outside.
I think
so
the passport has a schedule.
Passport
Yeah,
had a schedule.
right.
And a map.
Everybody just
Right.
nitpicks at the slightest things.
Yeah.
You saw the newest thing. Well, it's not the newest thing, but, they had the lighting at Hubbard Park.
Right.
Of the Christmas lights. Somebody had posted on MT that, why isn't there somebody collecting donations?
Right.
And then somebody else had said, this is a question that pops up every
Every
year.
year.
And it
It
had to
does.
do with
Yeah.
Hubbard. And
And-
he said, you can't make money at it. And,
Asking for donations for the shuttle buses for the Daffy Fest.
one of the...
That's another one that people raised too. Why not get $1?
A couple of years ago, we went to Death Valley, and you pull up to it's not a gate, but it's a little gatehouse, and it says they ask for, I think, like a $10 donation and whatever you could give. There's nobody there checking to make sure that somebody puts in. I mean, you could totally go into Death Valley without paying, but you do the right thing. You pull over and you put a couple bucks in there, and they could do something like that.
Well, is there a fear of the shakedown of the box, the collection box?
I think there's a fear in general in Meriden on where is the money coming from and where's it going to.
Right.
Right.
With anything. I know that there was a lot of things about Yulefest on there
Right.
saying,
No, the city's paying a fortune for that.
right,
That's
right.
why,
And they didn't pay anything. I mean,
Right.
But I think the stipulation was when the land was given to Meriden as a park was there was no profit to be had from that
Yeah,
land.
no commerce.
right. You could donate, have that money sit in a pot, and then
Right.
buy more Christmas lights next year.
Right.
I mean,
And
that's
I
not
think
making money.
If it's used as fundraising, I think
Yeah, yeah.
that's the way out of it.
But the Daffodil Festival, that's that's a whole nother story. I mean, they definitely make money on that, right?
Yeah.
And it costs a lot of money if you want to have a booth there,
Right.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, they do have the vendors that come in. It's not all just nonprofits there.
Yeah, right.
But any festival, even when they have those carnival people with the rides for the kids and all that stuff, I'm sure that's not free.
If you're doing a festival
Yep.
and it's for the right reasons, if you're doing it for the town so the town people have something to celebrate. If you're doing it for the local businesses so they can maybe hopefully make some extra money on a day where they normally wouldn't, it shouldn't cost anything. If it costs $5,000 to throw an event,
Yeah.
you charge each vendor X amount of dollars. You let the cost of charging cover the cost of the expense,
Rather
so
than
that way everybody
charging an
else can
admission.
enjoy it for free.
Right.
And then there's no question on where the money comes from, where the money goes to, or anything like that.
On the other hand, there was stipulation when the land was given that there was no any charging and profits. Have the people enjoy it for free.
Right.
But we have the green. We can do all the ideas you had at the green.
Yeah, but I think that's the thing. Like with the Daffodil Festival, you're not charging the people of Meriden or anybody who goes there. You're
But there's
charging the
private
vendors.
vendors.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And the vendors are making money,
Right.
but it's still free for the person to go there and enjoy.
Yeah, but you have the vendors on the other side. I mean, we could
There's
talk
a lot
about
of
this
hair
all day.
splitting on
Right.
how that will was written and interpretations of that.
Is there a copy of the will somewhere that we can look at and make our own decision?
I'm not interested.
We can FOI it.
Bring it to your lawyer, Meatball.
Oh, all right, I will.
And
I'm sure there's a copy somewhere we can take a look at.
Is it in the bottle? Is it corked somewhere in the bottle?
it's buried in the middle of the pond.
You're going to have to go and get it, Mary Ellen.
No.
Wear your high boots. That water seems semi-clean.
No.
Semi-clean. Speaking of which, how do you like our trip to the caravan you missed last week?
Yeah, that was riveting.
Yeah.
That was riveting.
We saw a lot of people we didn't
There's
expect to be there.
A lot of excitement down there at the caravan.
Yep, Ricky Ricardo was there. Who knew?
Who knew?
I thought he passed away years ago.
No.
Cheech and Chong were there.
He just keeps coming back.
MS-14 had a representation.
Yep.
MS-14,
Yeah.
not 13.
No, they were 14.
You had 14.
Yeah. They had their with our beautiful brand new studios here high atop the Silver City Ballroom in downtown Meriden, Mr. David Cooley.
Yay!
It's a great facility, I'm telling you. Howard Stern probably got his start in something like this, exactly.
All right, so David,
Beautiful.
you kind of came out of nowhere. Where have you been? Where are you from?
Well, it's a long story, but I'll keep it short.
Oh, we got plenty of time. I have in Simonisia.
In some, huh?
I'm a Meriden guy. I came here at 9 months old from Philadelphia, went to St. Rose School, Maloney High School, Bryant College at the time, now Bryant University, and came out of there and worked back home again with the Hatton family running the Sound of Music store they had in New London, Connecticut.
Sound of
The music store?
Yeah. We'd sold high-end car audio, home audio, stereo gear. Went off into more of a corporate role with MCI doing audio conferencing, which led to running the sales team for MCI's East Coast video conferencing sales team. I moved from there into sales management and then joined my college buddy about 16, 17 years ago, starting up a company called EvalueServe that we built from 4 or 5 people to 3,500 people.
And now you basically sell Meriden.
Right, so I kind of cashed in my chips. It was a great run, 15 years plus. I had gotten my MBA, my master's from the University of Hartford when I was 40. So I've continued to work with them, supporting in a mentorship role people there. Was in Africa doing a project for the Engineers Without Borders team that I've been working with for 10, 12 years now. Mm-hmm. One of the gals suggested I look into New London. I was talking about our hometown, and these many downtimes you have on these trips. She said, you should check out my friend in New London. I said, great, New London. I've worked there. I know that place. So I said, I'm going to go check that out. And in doing so, I looked up who the economic development director in Meriden was, Juliette Berdelsky. I didn't know her at all. And I said, hey, I'm going to check this place out if you want to tour it with me.
So wait a minute. So just out of the blue,
Yeah.
you thought to call the economic developer of Meriden because you thought Meriden's your hometown. This is going really good in New London. Let me grab her, bring her over here, let her see it. And so you just kind of did that on your own. You weren't working for anybody. You just wanted to see Meriden do better.
Right, exactly. Yeah, that's essentially how it happened. So
And then-
she met me down there. We had a great tour, and we got to walk around downtown and saw how busy it was there. And we had a coffee, and I said, if you ever need anything, I said, and it turns out Meriden has a makerspace actually at 290 Pratt Street, which I wasn't aware of at the time. So she asked for help with this Danbury project through Yukon. They were doing a kind of a benchmarking thing where they sent a Meriden team over to Danbury, and Danbury sent a team to Meriden. You kind of blind shopping, if you will, walk around downtown and
see what things are good, what things don't work.
Take notes on the transportation, the ethnicity of the restaurants, the culture, the history, and how the downtown presents itself, essentially. So Yukon had this program where probably 15, 16 towns were benchmarking each other, and they chose us to benchmark with Danbury. So we got to know some of the Danbury people there.
And what was the Danbury folks able to do for Meriden?
Well, they did the same thing we did, and they uncovered things that because we were here every day. I mean, not necessarily me, but the chamber was involved with this. So Sean was part of the team, Nate Batone from Salon Nathaniel, and Juliet was part of the team, Tom Welsh from Medco.
What were some of the findings?
Well, I don't have them in front of me, but I mean, one of the things, I remember kind of the oddball things like the traffic signal timing. They pointed out they thought that was a little off and where they were standing.
I know they mentioned the parking signs, the signage in Danbury.
Right. And they had but they also had a food blogger on that team that thought the Cuban sandwiches, and now I wish I could remember the restaurant, but was the best she'd ever had, So it was really interesting to get that outside perspective, and I think they thought the same about what we uncovered in Danbury. And
how did the Making Meriden Business Center come about?
With the Chamber of Commerce getting office space for a lot less money on Route 5, so they knew Meriden knew, with especially the park finishing up, that they needed a downtown presence and a face. And so this was when Medco stepped up and said, we can help with this, and came up with a few dollars to get the first year funded. So the idea was I would be 20 hours a week.
How's that working out?
That's all right. It's
he does about 80 hours a week.
No, I don't, some weeks are longer than others, but I still have that flexibility. If I want to get out and play golf on Wednesday afternoon, I can still do that.
When the Chamber of Commerce moved out, it was like, okay, how can you expect new businesses to move into downtown
if
when the chamber is leaving?
Yeah.
So Making Meriden is a combination of giving the Chamber of Commerce a presence in downtown, and also involving Medco and economic development.
It's been a great three-legged stool, if you will, of because Sean's down there every Tuesday for our meetings, and he's been invaluable because he knows how these things work, and we help put the job fair together. He helped us, we help him, and it's been great.
Well, and basically, like if you have an idea for a business, you don't know anything about business, or if you do have a business and you're thinking about Meriden, you go to the Making Meriden Business Center and you talk to you. Basically, they're like real estate agent. They'll take you to every vacant building in Meriden, show you the place, tell you who the owner is. A lot of times, as a business owner, or if you're not yet a business owner, you kind of feel alone. You don't know where to start. You're overwhelmed. David makes it a lot easier to get through that.
Contact.
Well, thank you for the kind words, but don't get me in any legal trouble. I'm not an agent of real estate, or we're just there to connect people. We connect the interested party to the brokers and try to facilitate the process and get them funding and all those good things.
What's been the interest level? How long have you been there now?
So we opened the doors March 1st.
Right.
And I was very fortunate that Lisa Bezek, it always had been planned that Connecticut Main Street would provide a resource for 20 hours as well. Thankfully, I knew Lisa. Lisa and I went to Bryant years ago, so I've known her for 40 years. We were in classes together, and we had just had lunch, and she had filled me in on what she was doing with Hartford.
And Main Street USA is what?
Connecticut Main Street is a nonprofit that really is funded with a lot of support from Eversource in the state of Connecticut, essentially. And their mission is to revitalize downtown neighborhoods, which is happening everywhere in the country.
Right.
And so that's an organization that does a good job of focusing on that, because there are unique aspects to that whole business, and they've been instrumental. Patrick McMahon, the CEO there, and thank God Lisa jumped on, because 1 + 1 with her and I equals 5, I think, in terms of productivity and output.
Right.
Well, and that's a great resource too, because I'm sure Main Street Connecticut has done a lot of research on what works, what doesn't work, that you guys can turn to, and she could say, hey, look, we did this in this town, it worked. We did it in this town, and it didn't work.
Exactly. It's really been a great relationship, and so we're hoping to continue that for at least another year. We think we have enough funding to get us through another year, and it's not a big budget it by any means. I'm talking $50,000-$60,000. So
Has there been any difference in the interest level since you opened your doors?
yeah, I mean, with the train opening, we put a little concert on to celebrate that, and people are coming through the front door, and it's really become I think where the chamber was on the second floor, with us being at the street level in that location at the corner of West Main and Colony, it's really become a hub of activity for folks like the Downtown Neighborhood Association, the Farmers Market, the Hispanic Outreach Leaders Association meets there and has their board meetings, and the chamber has their board meetings there on occasion, and so it's really become kind of a hub. So we've had a lot of walk-in people come in and say, I'm interested in a business. How do I get funded? And I don't have a business plan. Can you help me? Those kinds of things. So we provide all that support.
Does it seem like a lot of landlords are willing to bend a little bit and work with people just to get people into their vacant buildings?
I think it's a mix. We have some landlords that are very flexible and others that are even hard to get a hold of. I can just come in and ask questions and kind of punch through all that old stuff. But anyway, there are some definitely challenging landlords because they're not here. They're in New York or they're elsewhere, and they've got other properties, and they're not paying as close.
It's not a priority.
Yeah.
Almost like residential landlords that are not available because they're in Florida and they have a couple houses in Meriden.
I would hate to be a landlord,
All right.
but I'd like the money.
Meriden money?
Yeah.
Section 8 money?
No. Well, yeah, that works too.
Yeah.
So I think Yulefest was successful.
It was a lot of work. But when you saw Santa come up and over from the train station looking down and the kids screaming, it was like Elvis was coming to town. That was what kind of made it all worthwhile.
That was unique. Yeah.
It was a lot of fun, and we learned a lot. I think there's ways we would do a couple of things a little differently, but overall, we kind of lit up Colony Street, at least, which was the mission. We didn't want to do it at the Green. The Green's been great. We wanted to get people to realize that it's safe and clean.
Yeah.
And a good place to bring your family. There's plenty of parking. I didn't hear anybody complain about parking. I haven't been on social media today at all. But.
So can you talk a little bit about who backed that? I know it was Making Meriden Business Center,
right,
but
so,
also who else was involved in that?
Well, Carrie came to us, and Dave Radzicki. Carrie said, hey, we want Santa to come in on the train. So that was her idea, and I thought it was a great idea. And essentially, Medco is doing the paperwork, and I'm the guy making sure that the incomes match the expenses so that...
Well, and I think that's really
money.
important to say about it is that the city of Meriden, the taxpayers of Meriden didn't pay one dime. It didn't cost them a dime. Is
What
that
was
correct?
the funding source?
$200 the city gave us for as their we got as a sponsor.
Medco
Okay.
covered the rest?
All the different sponsors.
We got sponsors.
Okay, okay.
We didn't.
All right.
We were probably going to finish $300 in the black on this whole event. I think I haven't done the final spreadsheet this morning, but it was a $3,000 event roughly, the whole thing.
Yeah.
Between the food trucks paying to be there and the sponsors helping out. I mean, the sponsors were great.
Well, and I think that's exactly what needs to happen. I mean, I don't think what people don't realize is that if you have an idea, you want to do something in downtown Meriden, you want to do a festival, you want to do anything, they're up for it. They just want to get people downtown. They want people to see that downtown, like you said, is safe and everything else. David's a good person to go to and say, hey, David, I got an idea. I want to do this. Maybe I want to do this in the summer. How do I go about doing it? And David could point you into the right direction and say, this is what the Yulefest cost. This is what was involved in it. If you're up for that, they'll form a committee and get people to donate their time and help out, and you'll see it happen within a couple of months.
Well,
Was it a success, Dave?
I think so. I mean, nobody got hurt or arrested that I'm aware of. So to me, that's
Always a good
positive.
thing.
Yeah. So
Meatball. Well, we won't. We'll talk about that later.
it was, I think, overall a great event. And you talked about coming to see me to handle the event or whatever. We don't want to be event promoters. We want to be out hustling for businesses. But
We want to specifically point everybody
when
in the right
these guys
direction.
came to me, I said, hey, I can't. I
Yeah.
said, I'll do this for you, but I can't do the work. I can't do all the muscle and leg work and the running around and the detail work. And they said, no, we'll do all that. You just work on the financing piece and the get the insurance and all those kinds of things that you have to do.
But
if it helps Meriden, I'm all for it.
Right.
Is this going to be an annual event?
We'll see. I think so. I mean, it has that potential. Mike Rohde, knows who to call to get stuff done.
Yep.
Bruce Berkstead from Prentice Printing, he's been there forever. He knows a lot of folks as well. He provided all the printing costs. Daryl Lucas took an interest and really came up big with some prizes, as well as Marantz TV, of course. But Kathy Matula on the Parks and Rec, you guys have all gotten to know her recently. She's new on board. She's a ball of fire and really does some great things and great with ideas. And so Steve Cardillo was great manning our headquarters, and we had a ton of volunteers yesterday, thankfully. Never mind the Silver City Ballroom, which was the hot spot last night, I thought, inside and out. I wanted to get people into the church. I wanted people to get into Gallery 53.
Yeah, I heard they did really well.
Ballroom, yeah, the Gallery 50. The quote in the paper this morning also made it worthwhile. Saying there were so many people from Meriden who had never realized they existed.
Yeah, right.
They've been there since 1907, roughly. So that was great. Get in to see the bakery. There was a phenomenal bakery there that people don't know is there.
Their bread is amazing.
Yeah.
You get a loaf of bread, and I'm telling you, it's the best bread you can ever buy.
Any of the pastries, it's just killer. Poblanita, the Mexican bodega there, has great shrimp quesadillas and very reasonable prices, and they're in a good spot too.
I think it does a combination of two things. It makes people aware of these businesses that, like you said, they didn't know that they existed, but it also points out all of the vacant buildings, not so much in a negative way, but in an opportunity kind of way, and say, hey, I would love to open up my own business, and that spot would be perfect for it. So I think it's a win-win either way.
Right. And there's, as you know, there's plenty of good spots for businesses down there.
Yeah.
So Lisa and I have committed. We became a little bit eventy. We were doing a lot of events this year with the Entrepreneur Showcase at your place, and we had the Opportunity Zone event there. And so we've pulled together a lot of interesting walking tours, getting people from inside, from outside inside to look. But we need to get out on the road now and really go to New Haven and Hartford and do better at talking to these guys to get them here, because just being located there and having people come to us isn't exactly getting us what we need. So
more outreach.
Yeah.
How does somebody get a hold of you if they have an idea, or they want to open up a business, or they want to look for a location?
Yeah, it's pretty easy. Downtown Dave Cooley is my email address, downtowndavecooley@gmail. We're at 5 Colony Street. Our office hours are technically 9 to 1, but we're often open longer than that, and our phone number's on the door. You can text us. We're usually in the neighborhood, or we can set up a meeting, but I think the email is the best thing.
All right, cool. Thank you.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
A big thank you to the Making Meriden Business Center for sponsoring Dirty Laundry CT. If you want to be a sponsor, send us an email, dirtylaundryct@gmail.com. And make sure you follow us on Facebook @DirtyLaundryCT. We'll have all the shows up there and all the info. Oh, my producer Dino has just handed me. We got a scoop. All right, everybody out. It's me and Meatball time. Don't want to get anybody else in trouble. Thank you, David.
Yep.
Oh, wait. There goes Mary Ellen. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
She doesn't want any part of the... Hey, this is the part of the show. It's dirty laundry time.
Right?
Dirty laundry.
What is it? What is it?
Thank you, Dino. Okay. Somebody created a fake Facebook account just to give themselves props for the Yulefest.
No way.
Yep. And it says the fake Facebook account is Anna. I don't know how to say that last name. Fake Facebook account to give yourself props.
Why?
Well, I think that some of the organizers have ulterior motives.
Of the Yulefest, right?
It just seems to me that for some reason they want so much recognition for doing a great job. Maybe it's like mommy issues and daddy issues.
Could be.
Like when you're little and, you can never do good by your parents, so you're always looking for their approval.
But don't people grow up
Some people do.
and grow out of that stuff?
I know you've seen it on MTV. It's constant, oh, thank you, so-and-so. Thank you, so-and-so, for doing a great job.
Oh, that stuff. It wasn't really on MT, but all the other forums, somebody would flood it with thank you to this person and those persons for organizing it.
Yeah.
It's quite obvious that it's somebody fake giving somebody else credit so you can figure out who it is.
It's so stupid. The fact of the matter is, this wasn't a new idea.
Right.
The bail bonds on Colony Street used to shut down Colony Street every year and bring Santa Claus, and the street would be closed. What was new this year was Santa coming on the train, like David said.
Right.
You can't force recognition in a positive way. It'll only come out negative when you force it. Recognition will come when it's due. You do a good job, everybody enjoys themselves, people recognize you, people thank you. I think some people get on like a power trip, and if you can't work with other people, it causes a lot of problems. The whole idea is to get people to come downtown, enjoy themselves, see the businesses that are there, and also bring people from outside of town to see all the vacant buildings and say, hey, maybe I should move my business here. And I think at the end of the day, it was an excellent festival. I think everybody enjoyed themselves. Everybody's looking forward to more. You just got to play nice with others. Be humble. It was definitely a success.
Yeah, well, at the end, you're going to get thanked anyways because, it's a big event. There's few people that helped out a lot.
Hey, you might even get a day named after you.
Ooh.
Again.
Oh.
You
don't get to celebrate every year, though. It's only that year.
What if you have more than one?
Oh, jeez. I would frame it and put it in a wall.
They already have one, so they could get another one.
You can do like a wallpaper with that thing.
All right, so next time you see Anna...
Let me see what it is. K something.
Whatever.
That is what it is. But I think most people are smart enough. That's why you have 10,000 users on MT and there's only maybe a handful of participants.
Yeah.
A lot of people sit in the background and watch and judge, and I kind of think those are the smarter people that, hey, I don't want to get involved in this dirt. Let people talk all the smack they want.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So a lot of people are up to it. There's no secrets in this town. This town is a two-horse town, really.
Well,
everyone knows everyone.
Especially when we're airing out dirty laundry.
Dirty laundry.
Right?
So if you got any, make sure you email us.
You better.
dirtylaundryct@gmail.com. Follow us on Facebook at dirtylaundryct.
Yeah, and no cat pictures.
Yeah, no cat pictures. And what time does the splash pad open tomorrow?
Tomorrow maybe 9 o'clock, because it's cold out, so pipe's gotta heat up a little bit.
Any scrap metal?
Nope.
No? Good.
It's all frozen.
All right, we'll see you on the next episode.
See ya.
I'm watching you from across the room. Refined dots and dashes, your grace pure. Jackie Onassis, my thoughts go from fire to fire.